Hello, Math Masterminds. Today you're going to be working with similar figures. Similar figures have the same shape, but are a different size. So notice here in the figures, same shape, different sizes. Corresponding sides of similar figures are proportional. So we have to know what corresponding means. It means the sides that are in the same position of the two figures. So when we see the word similar, we also know that the figures are proportional. We can use a proportion in order to find the missing length of similar figures. We have two different ways that we can set up a proportion to find the missing side. One way is within the same figure. For example, if I look at the small figure, notice my labels are small is equal to big. So I'm going to take the dimensions of the small figure and I'm going to set them equal to the dimensions of my large figure based on corresponding sides. Okay. The second way that we can set up a proportion in order to find the missing sides is between the figures. Notice my labels have changed. I'm now going to compare a small figure over the big figure. Okay, so now I take the corresponding sides, which is 6 from the small figure, 12 from the big figure, set up my ratio, and I'm going to set that equal to the other corresponding size, which is 4 and x. So the two ways that I can set up would be within the figure and between the figures. So when we are told that we have similar figures, corresponding sides are very important. Corresponding sides of similar figures are proportional. And remember, proportions may be set up within the figure or between the figures. You need to be familiar with both methods. When changing the size of a figure, will the angles of the figure also change? Let's think about that. Let's take a look. We know that the sum of a triangle equals 180 degrees. So if we have 70 plus 40, that equals 180 degrees. If I make this triangle bigger, will my angles increase? Nope. Remember, the sum of all three angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. If the size of the angles were increased, the sum would exceed 180 degrees. And we can verify this fact by placing the smaller triangle inside the larger triangle, and we see that the angles are congruent. Okay? Angles are congruent. So when finding the length of the missing side, sometimes we have a figure within a figure. Oh dear, this looks a little messy and confusing. So what I suggest you do is separate the two figures. When you separate, make sure you label. Now things look a little easier to see. I can identify my corresponding sides. I can identify the measurement of each side of my figure. And I'm now ready to set up my proportions in order to determine the missing side. Remember, I have two different ways that I can set up my proportion: within the figure or between the figures. So today you will be working on questions on similar figures. If you need any assistance, you can press the help button that's in our virtual classroom, and you can come see me during my office hours or my available times. Have a good one.